Hello, welcome once again to Editing Academy. I'm Daryl.
I'm Laura.
Laura, we are here to talk about your number 4. But before we do,
Yes.
I gotta do a little baby
Do the baby clap.
Yay!
Excellent.
Every time
You get
without
very
fail,
excited.
it makes me giggle. Okay, I'll do the stuff and then you can start on your talk. We are here to talk about
The Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, released in 1965. Produced and directed by Robert Wise, were screenplay by Ernest Lehman. Stars Julie Andrews, Christopher Plummer, Richard Hayden, Peggy Wood, Carmian Carr, I hope I'm pronouncing it. Charmaine Carr, sorry. Eleanor Parker. It's an adaptation of the 1959 stage musical composed by Rodgers and Hammerstein, and was based on a book by Lindsay and Krauss, which was based on the 1949 memoir, The True Story of the Trapp Family Singers by Maria von Trapp. For the time, it was nominated for a ton of stuff. Picture, director, actress, supporting actress, best art direction, color, because they were still doing both.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Best cinematography, color. Best costume design, color. Best film editing, best scoring of music, adaptation or treatment, and best sound. It won for sound, scoring of music, film editing, best director, and best picture. All right.
All right. I will take it from here. So I want to do a little bit of spiel of the introduction of The Sound of Music, why it's important to me, and then until this time, until I forced it upon you, you have never seen Sound of Music.
Not in its entirety,
I'm going to give you a moment to kind of just talk about your thoughts, and then I'm going to go into the why I think it is not my number 4, and it really toggles between number 3 and number 4 with The Godfather.
Okay.
So, spoiler alert.
2 very different films.
Two very, very different films. So I do not know a time in my life when The Sound of Music was not one of my favorite movies. So from the time I was a child, it was played on TV at, I think, Easter, maybe Christmas, I don't remember, every year. It was a family event. We would all sit down and watch it. And then when we got HBO, when I was, probably, in my young tweens, it was on HBO constantly for years. And so I just watched it all the time. I sang all the songs. I love this movie.
It's a true definition of a comfort movie for you.
It is the true definition of a comfort movie for me, and it's interesting. So I'm just going to give like a little bit of a setup for it. So this is 2 separate movies in one movie. This is a romance between Maria and Georg, and about 3/4 of the way through the movie is the culmination of that romance. Is they have the wedding, and the couple has the happy ending that you are expecting. The movie could have ended there, but that is when the second storyline that had been kind of on the low burner for a while, which is the rise of fascism and the Nazi movement in Austria, really takes over, and we understand what is going to happen to their family. There's been a little bit mentioned under the covers of Georg and his, he is fully against the Nazis. That little punk Rolf is fully for the Nazis, and then you've got Max, who is just like, oh, I'm not political, not realizing that politics impact everything. So it's really interesting that what could have just been a romance and ended in a point then went on and told like a different and a deeper story.
And I'll definitely give you this. One of the strengths of the movie, I think, is when you get to that end. A lot of times movies will have, it will be like one story and then there's like a tack on at the end.
Yes.
Where the tack on doesn't feel earned. But this one does a really good job of laying little breadcrumbs throughout.
Yes.
So when the full attention and focus is on the ending of it, it does actually feel not abrupt. It feels natural and earned.
Yeah.
And that was something that like I said, a lot of movies just aren't able to pull that off. I think this one does.
Excellent. All right. So tell me, before I get kind of in the depth of why I love it and all of the things, tell me what your experience was, because you do not love musicals.
I don't love musicals, even though I have one in my top 20. But I think this is one of those movies that if, like you did, if you grew up watching it, like I told you offline, I understand why people love this movie so much. It makes such sense. But I think it is something that once this movie has become part of your life, the movie has much more import than I think if it hadn't. This movie has never been part of my life.
Yep.
And so watching it just with the critical eye of like, I'm going to watch this movie, I don't have the same impact of it because, again, this is my first time.
Yep.
I think the movie is well crafted. We can talk about that, but it does not have the impact for me because it was not a part of my life. And I think that is an important thing for this movie. The people that love it, it is a part of your life.
Yes. Yep. I think that's very fair. Two ways I think that it kind of bends convention is, the first way is this did start as a stage musical.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked a lot about how plays or stage musicals are then filmed and they don't, it basically looks like a play on film.
Yeah.
And I think this is entirely the opposite.
I agree.
mean, it is the...
It's Chicago-esque.
Oh, see, I disagree. So, because I think Chicago is still very interior. But this it uses the entirety of Austria, and it films all of the country, and it feels very genuine and so open.
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
Whereas Chicago, absolutely, we talked about that yes, it's more than just a filming of the stage play, but I think this even expands on that.
No, I'll absolutely give you that 100%. And you used the right word there. I was going to interject, and then I was kind and kept my mouth shut because you're talking. It is a very open movie. Even in its more smaller kind of claustrophobic moments, it is still a very open movie. The scenes at the dinner table, which there are a lot of those, do feel very open. Even, I mean, it's not just because they're an affluent family in a big house with a big dining table, because that room is a small room.
The way it's filmed.
Yeah, the way it's filmed does feel open. So even small moments do feel very open, which is a testament, obviously, to the director.
Yep. I completely agree with that. The other place where I think it kind of goes against convention is, a musical, and one of the reasons you've said you don't like musicals is you don't like people just bursting into song. Yeah. And definitely there are some songs that are entirely contrived. The nuns probably do not sing through the abbey, how do we solve the problem about Maria? But many are not. It is reasonable that she is teaching these children to sing, that they're going to be a musical group, and they're singing because singing and music is bringing life into the house. And so the reason for the music and the reason they keep bursting into music is actually a little bit better explained in this musical than in many others.
No, you're absolutely right. Like the explanation of music being such a central part, which she brings to the family.
Yes.
That when she's not there, it is one of their go-to. Like they're sitting around thinking, we're feeling bad. What would she do? Well, she would sing, and they sing her song. And then they still feel sad because it didn't work.
She's not there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yes, this is a far more clever introduction of being able to just suddenly sing a song, and the song's becoming relevant to what is actually happening because of her brilliance of being and her admiration for song overall and bringing that to the family.
Yep.
One minor thing. They do answer the question of what to do with Maria.
Marry her off.
Exactly.
Get rid of her.
Right.
Exactly. 100%. No, totally agree with you. Yeah, and I don't know of one bride that wants that song being sung as she's walked down the aisle of how do you solve a problem, like the bride. But so a couple of other things that I just absolutely love is the amount of humor in this movie. I mean, it is a very important topic. It's a very topical topic, I would say, of what to do, when a country is going through the rise of fascism. I would say that's a topical topic. And, there's so much humor between her and the nuns and each other. Her first interactions with the captain, I think, show a little bit, you obviously see the spark that's going to be there. So I really like the humor that's shown throughout without being funny. This is not a comedy by any stretch, but it has moments of humor.
And they don't, like the actors themselves don't play it up, they play it straight.
They're not hamming it up.
Correct.
Exactly.
Her humor comes a lot from she cannot keep her mouth shut.
Yes.
She's just so incredibly honest when asked a question.
Exactly.
She was asked if she was a good nun at one point. She's like, no, not really.
It was terrible.
No,
and he's like, great. What have I let myself in for?
Have you ever been, I forget the official title, a governess or what?
Governess.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you ever been a governess? No, never have. We'll have to figure this out together. Like, her honesty allows for the setup of a lot of the humor.
Or even when they were talking, when the nun is sending her away, she's like, they have 7 children. 7? Don't you like children? Well, yes, but 7? Just, I think she well deserved that Best Actress that she got. 2 characters I want to mention particularly, which is, first one is the Baroness. I could not love the Baroness more. The Baroness von Schrader is one of my favorite characters in all of film.
Really?
I love this woman. She is who she is. She is also going to fight for her man. Who the hell is this woman coming in, trying to take her man, and I'm going to fight for her, and I'm going to send her away, and I'm going to do that in a little bit of a manipulative way, but to heck with her. But then she realizes she's going to lose. And so she steps aside with dignity and grace and lets him kind of go forth and go get your nun. She's never going to be one. I love her.
One of the things I did really like about her character is from the beginning, she establishes she's not really a fan of children.
Oh, good God, no. She is sending them all off to boarding school as soon as she can.
But she loves the man, and she wants the man, and so she will absolutely accept all of this that she doesn't want because she wants the man.
Exactly.
And I liked how that was set up, that she's being very honest about it, but she's also taking part of herself and pushing that down for something that she wants. You didn't see that a lot in 60s films.
No, that's true. Good point.
And I like the fact that they were doing that. She had her own agency, and it was on full display.
Yep, I completely agree. One thing I want to compare this movie to Dirty Dancing, our conversation to Dirty Dancing. So it's going to take a minute.
Okay.
But, so when we had our conversation with Dirty Dancing, I kept trying to downplay the Patrick Swayze of it all. Because I think that people are like, oh, Patrick Swayze is hot, he's half naked in it, he's dancing, it's, everybody loves that. All of that is true. But it's also a really good film. In this movie, the absolutely smoking hotness of Christopher Plummer is fully unappreciated. There is no woman of my age or anyone I've ever met that watched this movie that is not in love with Captain Von Trapp. And Christopher Plummer at the height of his powers.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about him for a second, because he obviously goes through a transformation. He opens up, he becomes warmer, because in the initial, he is a very stern, militaristic kind of man. And very slowly, because of her, of course, that starts to bleed away. But it takes a very long time for that to happen. And in fact, you know this film far better than myself, but I would argue that it actually doesn't happen until right before they are married.
Oh, interesting. I see the transformation when he sees the children singing and then music is in the house, because all of that comes from the death of his wife. And he is so sad to have lost her, and with her left the happiness and the music from the house. So to me, he turned around when he saw the music coming in, but then he didn't warm up until he realized he was in love with Maria.
Okay. I do agree that her treatment of the children is one of the things that kind of melted that exterior for him. When he, 'cause he does love his children.
He absolutely does, yes.
And he adores them, he will do everything for them. He's just not an open, warm person, at least in the beginning. So her being able, seeing how that worked with her and the children, and bringing the children out, and he, for the first time, really starts to see them as individuals as opposed to just things he has to care for. I think that was definitely part of it. Here's my question.
Okay.
This was probably mid-40s, like 40, the time period.
Oh, early 30s, late 30s. Because it was pre-Nazi rise. Yeah.
So this would have been a scandalous thing, would it not, for him to marry the governess?
Oh, not at all.
What?
Half of the people who became governesses were so that they could marry the guy. No, absolutely not.
Okay, this is something I am completely unfamiliar with.
No, that is like Jane Eyre. Wasn't it Jane Eyre that came in as a governess, and that's how she ended up marrying Mr. Rochester? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the governesses often went in and became the pseudo mothers, and then the guys married them so that they could have mother figures for their kids.
Okay.
So
I would have thought it would have been the entire opposite, and that it would have been a scandal, and he was breaking convention by doing this.
No, it wasn't like all the time, like every time he brought in a governess, it's like marrying the nanny or something like that, but it was fairly common.
Okay. All right, thank you for the clarification.
Happy to clarify. But yes, the Christopher Plummer of it, And I will say too, the scene where they are kind of backlit when they're coming together for their first song when they're clearly in love. That had to be backlit because Robert Wise got super pissed off at them because they could not stop laughing during the filming of it, and so basically he had to do it in backlight so you couldn't see their faces clearly, so that they dubbed most of that over in post-production. Because, Christopher Plummer famously did not love this movie, did not love being in this movie, and thought it was kind of schmaltzy. But he has also said that he regrets not being a better partner to Julie Andrews because he said that she was nothing but a professional and wonderful to work with.
And that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And she is quite revered even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned to you offline that watching this movie, I got very hardcore Mary Poppins vibes.
Mm-hmm.
The parallel obviously being, Mary Poppins comes in, she takes care of her family. There's no marriage at the end of it, but she takes care of her family, gives the kids all this joy. Similar theme working here. Obviously a different subject matter and explored differently, but a similar theme.
Yeah.
And the way she was acting was very similar to her Mary Poppins. It's like acceptance and then now something. Like you can see that in her face. She's like, oh, interesting, but let's do this.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I did like that it was a different exploration of that kind of character while being similar.
Like super positive, super optimistic, bringing joy into people's lives and solving the problems of the family.
But also, you get the impression that she would not be doing this if it was also not bringing her joy.
Absolutely.
She's not, it's not self-serving,
Yeah.
it's not a self-deprecation where I'm only doing this because I need you to be happy. It's like, I do this because it's joy for me, and I'm very happy that it's bringing joy for you. This is how I think life should be lived. Try it.
Exactly. I think it took her a minute to get there, though, because she obviously did not want to do this. And I think it started out with, I am doing this because it is God's plan. I'm doing this for God, not for me. I'm not going to get anything out of it. And then as she got to know the children and got to realize what she could give to them, she got joy out of that.
Yep.
Yep, I agree.
I don't have anything else.
All right, so I will just say, one thing I would say, and I said this to you offline, when you see this on TV, they often cut out some of the scenes. And they cut out one of my particular favorite scenes, which is the captain and Liesel singing Edelweiss.
Yes.
Because obviously Edelweiss as the Song of Austria, which I think had some callbacks to them singing the French national anthem in Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
When they were all singing Edelweiss, the Song of Austria, at that last moment of that national pride, and seeing their world changing. So I definitely saw
little nod.
some callbacks to that. But it is streaming on Disney, and it shows obviously the uncut movie, and I recommend people do that. And also, if you have a DVD like I do, there's 8,000 different, director's scenes and deleted scenes, and these folks have gone around and done reunion tours. Most of the children have done different things together over the years, and so it's definitely well worth listening in on the making of.
Watching a lot of the extra scenes that were not put into the movie, do you agree that this scene didn't actually?
I think the movie's perfect as is. Yeah.
So as great as the extra scenes are to watch, there's a reason this was cut.
I agree. Yes. Although I do have one scene. I hate the puppet show. I don't see a reason for it. It annoys me. Some people love it and it's their favorite part. For me, it's just really annoying and weird. But again, a mostly perfect movie.
So my final question for you is, I question one of the things they don't do. Very affluent family in Austria, very well-to-do.
Yes.
They give up all of that money to flee. Even then, it was easy to do bank transfers, be like, hey, let's take money from here and put it over to there.
Not at that time, and not in Austria.
Really?
Not during the Nazi regime, no.
Okay.
Because the Nazis owned all the banks at that point.
Okay.
So had he done it earlier, maybe, but at that time, when it was time to flee, they had to leave with the shirt on their backs.
So I'm going to ask you, this was my final question, I'm going to ask you a question that you used to ask a lot, which is, what happens next?
Okay. What happens next is they stay in Switzerland for a while, they emigrate to America, and they open the Von Trapp Family Lodge in Vermont and live happy lives.
Okay. Is that actually what
That's
happened?
actually what happens.
Okay.
Yeah. My boss's dad, Maria von Trapp, lived in Vermont until she passed away probably in the 70s or 80s maybe. My dad's boss was on a plane from Portland to Burlington with her one time when they used to have Burlington in service, and sat next to Maria von Trapp.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Von Trapp Family Lodge in Vermont still standing. A lot of the grandchildren are running it, and yeah, no, they became a family singing. They did go back to Austria after the war, some of them, and were able to, I think somewhat get some of their things back, but like anybody, there wasn't a lot left.
Yeah.
But that's what happened next.
Okay.